Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. I am so happy you found us. I'm Lisa, and this is Creativity and Inspiration. How's everybody doing today? I hope you're having an amazing day. We're almost to the weekend. It's Thursday, yay! Except I have lots to do this weekend. Today, though, we are talking snippet rolls. And wait, stay with me. I know you've heard about snippet rolls, especially if you've been doing junk journals and crafting for a while. But I have some new ideas, some new takes on it, so don't go anywhere. And if you're totally new or just beginning in this journey of paper crafting, I hope you find this very informative and you can pull some bits and pieces that, you might want to use. Let's jump in. First, I want to talk about what are snippet rolls. And first, snippets are actually, the word snippet came from grabbing little blocks of text. Okay, that's a snippet. Well, snippet rolls are creating little blocks of creativity that can be rolled up, and you can just roll out one little section at a time, hence snippet roll. How do you create a snippet roll, and what do you use to create a snippet roll? It really depends. It depends on maybe what you're going to use it for, what you have on hand, just all sorts of variables. Today, I'm going to show you snippet rolls using both fabric and paper, and you can make them all paper, all fabric, or a combination. And my favorite way to do it is, of course, the combination. I just think that gives you more versatility, and you don't have to create two, like one all fabric and one all paper. So that's, that's personal choice, but that's what I like to do. So I was going to share some of the items I pulled to do this today. I have some quilting squares, and so I pulled a couple of these to use. Actually, I think I just pulled one, but that's okay. In fact, I think I'll bring you closer so you can see this better, and I don't have to keep getting up and moving. Okay guys, now that you're closer, I'm going to show you some fabrics I pulled and that I'm thinking of using. One is this piece of blue jean, and this is where I showed you in one video from a few years ago that you can actually decoupage napkin onto jeans. Isn't that cool? Anyway, the colors are my inspiration because right now I seem to be really drawn to the orange, the blues, and all that. So this jean piece is going to be the start, and I'm going to use this edge because it's got the threads, and I like that detail. Then other fabrics I'm going to incorporate are going to be the pink, green, and yellow out of this square. Maybe some of these blue flowers from this little scrap piece, and some of this orange. And then I'll probably also pull in some lace and some cheesecloth, whether it's coffee stained or not, I haven't decided. Then for paper, I'm going to pull in, of course, some sewing pattern. I'm going to pull in some scrapbook paper that I have, which is this piece. Same paper. Then a piece just of, parchment paper. More pattern. And then another piece of just scrapbook paper. Then I pulled in like some tickets, some little things I've already decorated. Just some little things that I pulled out. That's a parking permit. Save everything. And then some blue tickets. I have different colors. Well, I have some pink lace, some gold beaded stuff because I told you I'm into shiny right now. And I have this little snippet that's stamped on a little bit right there. And then I'm also, and more scrapbook paper. I'm not going to use that. So that's what I've pulled. And I also have this little snippet that I made before, and this is all that's left. And I'm going to start with this. And the reason I want to start with this is because this is a perfect example of what you can do with snippet rolls if you wanted to. You could make the whole roll like a base for adding whatever colors, whatever like butterflies, flowers, or, you know, whatever you want to, whatever the bling is on top. And I'll put up one of the videos where I talk about altering tickets, cards, anything, and I talk about starting with your base layer and then adding the bling on top. And that's what this is. And this is a great time saver, at least for me. If I make a whole roll out of, this was some packing paper, some cardboard, book page, music paper, I stamped it, I inked it, it was ready to go. All I'd have to do is unroll this, then add on my bling. And for the bling, what would I add? Well, I might add, this piece of little fabric there to add some color. I might have added, let's see, where'd it go? I would have added a little bit of scrapbook paper for a lot of color. I would have added the fabric or the ribbon for a soft, different texture. And then maybe add a little bling to top it all off and tie it all together. And boom. But all I had to add were these three things. This part was already done. So one, you have what I call the base snippet roll. And that's just, like I said, just base papers that you add your bling to. And then you could add this all blinged out onto an envelope, onto a journaling card, onto a tag, whatever you wanted to. This could be a belly band. You would have to back it with something a little harder because it's kind of floppy, but that's okay. But then decorate it. It saves time if you make your base snippets, okay? So I had a blue jean one too, which was done all the way. It was completed, and I did it in the little snippet sections. And I would cut off each little section as I was using it and glue it to a tag, an envelope, a cover, whatever, and I was done. It was that simple. So I suggest, and this is just what I like to do, is I make one roll. I make one snippet roll that is just a base and that I can add anything to. And then I like to make one roll or multiple rolls, it doesn't have to be just one, of already completed snippets that I just have to cut and glue down. And I like doing these both. Now, the base snippets, I like to be paper. But you could do them fabric too. It doesn't matter, whatever you want to do. The fancy, already done, just cut it and glue it and be done snippet roll, I do a mixture of fabric and paper. And even each snippet, if I wanted to cut this into sections and add a paper snippet in between, you could do that. So for the finished one, I like to have all fabric and paper, and all paper. It doesn't matter. But you may want just fabric, or you may just want paper. Whatever, is up to you. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how I would decorate this snippet and use it, and how fast this is to complete. Then I'm going to show you how I would do a fabric paper snippet roll and an all fabric. And I'll show you kind of how I would put this together. I probably won't finish those, but they'll be at the end. But I'll show you how I start so you get the idea. Then once we get some snippets made, we'll talk about how to use them and some of the new ideas I had for you as well. So I have this envelope and I want to dress it up. So I'm going to use what's left of this. I could cut this one in half if I wanted to, if this envelope was smaller. But because this envelope is so large, I think I'm going to use the whole thing unless I trim just a little bit off of each end and make like a side tuck, which I think I may do that. But before I do that, I'm going to bring in some fabric. And I wanted to bring in my yellow. I saw I had some yellow. So I want to put a little yellow on here. I want to add a little bit of lace maybe. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of yellow. I'm going to add a little bit of lace. And then for my bling on top, I think I'll cut out one rose and put a little bling bling with it. Okay, that's what we're going to do. So let me get my glue and we'll create this snippet. And what we're doing here is we're using our base snippet. And I'm going to show you how fast this is to There is our first one done. If you noticed, it didn't take that long, just a few minutes to glue it all down because we had the base done already. So I love base snippet rolls. And as you can tell, I made a tuck spot on this envelope. And I think it's amazing. It makes the envelope pop, and it was super, super simple. So base snippet rolls are a definite time saver. Okay, next I'm going to talk about the all fabric snippet roll. And these are just arbling. These are from start to finish. They're already made. And we're going to take, let me get a tag or something. I'm just going to use this tag, and I pulled out just another piece of paper. Okay, so let's first decorate it. So how are we going to decorate our snippet roll? And you don't have to sew for fabric snippet rolls. You don't have to have a sewing machine. It's not required. So what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to use some of the stitching, some of the flowers. I'm going to use this whole little square. But first, I'm going to cut these out. And I like to make these about, I think it's about an inch. Let's see. Oh, 2 inches. I like to make them 2 inches wide. That's a nice width. It goes with everything. You know, it makes just... So there's my snippet. And because I'm doing a fabric one, it's all going to be fabric, I'm not going to cut the snippets apart and reattach them. Now, when I say it's all going to be fabric, the base is going to be fabric. There are going to be a few possibly paper elements decorating it, and that's fine, but it could be all fabric too. It's just whatever. So because I'm creating a lot of spring stuff right now, I definitely want to go with a spring feel to this one. And you can make these as wide as you want. You know, probably I see this one having, let's see, probably 4 snippets, and I'm going to put the yellow at each end. But of course, you do yours however you see them. And not every snippet on the roll has to be the same. In fact, you want them to be different. You want to have different looks, or you may not. You know, everybody's different. Everybody's going to see this in a different way. Actually, I'm going to work on one end at a time. It's easier for me that way. And like I said, you don't have to have a sewing machine to do this. You can definitely just use glue. It's fine, just a good fabric glue. I use the Elmer's Craft Bond glue. I also have Eileen's fabric glue. Both of those are good. But if you get Eileen's, make sure you get the permanent fabric glue and not the temporary, because the temporary does release after a little while. Okay, there's one. Now let's go. I'll do one more on here, and then be sure and check the end of the video for more looks. Okay guys, check at the end of the video and I'll have this one all done. Then the next one we're going to talk about is going to be a fabric paper one combined. So I'm going to use paper underneath the fabric just to give it a little more stability. But what I'm going to do is show you how I would do this one next. And of course, this one again will be completed at the end of the video. And then the fabric, I'm going to cut the same size out. And I'm going with the spring theme. It can be used for Mother's Day. I'm all about easy and making things, because I make so many journals and they sell or I gift them. I need things pre-made and made simple. Okay, so fabric, paper, because you're not going to see this paper. And then what I can do on this one, or what I would do on this one, is I might finish it out, or I might, and what I would do on this one is finish it out just like I did the fabric one. If I wanted to make it a base fabric mixture, then I would use my packing paper and decorate it just like I did this one with the book page and all that. And the fabric, instead of using bright colored fabrics, I would use burlap, and I would use a plain cotton fabric, and then mix those with the craft paper and the other base papers and have a combination going of a base fabric, base paper one, which I'll also do and show you at the end to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. I've got to change my battery. Hold on, guys. This is a brand new battery. Wow. Okay, guys, so you can see some of the finished ones at the end. What I did was, though, I made a really quick fabric base one. All it is burlap, some cotton fabric, and some cheesecloth. And then you can stamp it, and then you add on your bling on top. So this is a fabric version of the paper version that I showed you earlier as a base. And if you wanted to make a combo of these two, you could certainly do that. That would be totally up to you. Again, for time's sake, I know you don't need me to do that, so that's fine. I also wanted to show you what I was talking about. This is Fabric Fusion Eileen's. It's permanent fabric glue. This is no-sew fabric glue, which would probably be the one you grab, right? Except if you read, it says temporary fabric adhesive, and it does come loose. So if you're trying to find a glue to work on fabric that doesn't come loose, this is the best one. Of course, my favorite is the Elmer's Craft Bond, because it does paper and fabric, and I don't have to switch, and it's easy. Anyway, okay, so I did this one for you earlier and showed you how fast I could do it with a base paper made, just adding the bling. Well, now I'm going to show you how easy it is if you just make a snippet roll that is already all decorated up. All you have to do is come in and cut off whichever snippet you want to use, attach it to your tag, your page, whatever, and look, it's already decorated. You could stamp this, you could add paint, paper, whatever, but it's that simple. Now, what are some other things you could do with these besides decorating tags, journal cards, tuck spots, little journals, journal covers? Well, one, you could make them belts across the top, you know, poke some holes, tie them shut, but use them as a closure on a journal. How pretty would that be across the cover of one? You could use them as border pages. You could use them as, if you wanted to, you could cut it into thin strips and use it as a tassel for your journal. You could cut these apart, poke a hole, and use them as charms and tie them on the strings in the center of your journal or on the spine. They could be spine covers. They could be a whole page themselves. You know, you make enough of these and connect them all together, and they could be an actual page in your journal. I mean, how pretty would that be as a page? And very, very unsuspecting. And the themes of these, they can be spring, they can be a holiday, they could be something personal. You could decorate them with photographs, with mementos from vacations. If somebody's turning, say, 18, and you want to do one of their baby blankets or their baby clothes. You could do one of high school t-shirts, of concert t-shirts. You know, you could do anything you want with these. You could do anything you want with these. You're only limited by your imagination. These would also make a cool strip quilt. You could use these to make a curtain, a valance. You could use these on a lampshade. You could use these on bed sheets as trim. You could use them on pillowcases, tea towels. You know, you could use these on anything decorative. You know, if you have fancy towels that just hang in your bathroom on the towel rack, you know, and they have the pretty edges, you could use something like this. It doesn't have to use paper. You could use all fabric and customize it and make your own, you know, towels. You are really only limited by your imagination. You can make these smaller, like I said, and make smaller charms, but you can make them tiny and make bingo card, little bingo things as well. You could make one and then cut out the shape of a dress and make a paper doll, a very custom look. If you use all paper and these are flat, not like with the buttons or the jewels, you could use these to line the bottom of a tray and then put resin on top. So on a coffee table, you could use these for anything that you can think of. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video about snippet rolls. I hope I gave you some new ideas about how you can use them, how you can decorate them. And yeah, I just hope you liked the video. If you did, be sure and give it a thumbs up for me. Also, be sure and hit that subscribe button and that little bell if you have not. We have a ton of I say that every time, but we do. We have a ton of ideas, a lot of videos coming your way, and you really don't want to miss out. And I would just so appreciate you subscribing. Believe me, I would be one of the most grateful creators out there. So thanks for being here today, guys, and I will see you on Saturday. We're talking 3D doors, windows, things like that for journals, just to make them a little more fun. Just to make everything a little more fun. I'll see you then. Bye, guys. Oh, and don't forget to check out all the finished snippets at the end of this video. Bye.